A very warm greetings to everyone. This is Mehak Basrani, currently pursuing Integrated Masters of Technology from International Institute of Professional Studies DAVV Indore. This video is on the subject Information Security under the guidance of Dr. Shaligram Prajapati. So, in this video, we are going to discuss the end semester examination solutions of the year 2023. Let's begin. The first question says, ask that we have to create a virtual representation of the differences between the internet and the web. Here on the right, you can see the difference between internet and the web. Let's discuss the differences briefly. The internet is a global network of interconnected computers and devices that communicate with each other through standard protocols such as TCP/IP. It includes various types of networks such as LANs, that is local area network, WANs, that is wide area network, and the World Wide Web, that is WWW. On the other hand, the web is a collection of interconnected documents and resources which are accessed using HTTP protocol over the internet. It includes various types of content such as text, images, videos, and audio files. The next question asks what ethical concerns are associated with using the invisible web for data mining and surveillance purposes. The answer says the invisible web refers to the vast amount of content on the internet that cannot be accessed through standard search engines. This includes content that is not indexed or publicly available, such as password protected websites, private social media profiles, and unlisted directories. The use of invisible web for data mining and surveillance purposes raises several ethical concerns, including first, invasion of privacy. Individuals may not be aware that their private information is being accessed and collected, leading to a violation of their privacy rights. Second, unethical data collection. Data mining techniques may be used to collect and analyze data without the consent of the individuals or organizations, leading to unethical data collection practices. Third, misuse of data. Collected data may be misused for purposes other than those for which it was intended, such as for targeted advertising or surveillance. Fourth, bias and discrimination. The use of data mining and surveillance techniques may result in bias and discrimination against certain individuals or groups based on factors such as race, gender, or religion. The next part of the first question asks, how can individuals and organizations use two-factor authentication and strong passwords to enhance the security of their email accounts? To enhance the security of email account, individuals and organizations can use two-factor authentication and strong passwords. Two-factor authentication requires to provide two forms of identification such as password and a verification code sent to their mobile device or email address. This adds an extra layer of security and makes it harder for hackers to access the account. These strong passwords should be complex and include a combination of uppercase and lowercase letters, numbers, and special characters. Passwords should also be changed regularly and individuals should avoid using the same password for multiple accounts. The first part of second question asks what are the different types of malware and their impact on computer systems and what measures can be taken to prevent malware infections such as using antivirus software and regularly updating software. Let's go through the answer. That is, malware is malicious software designed to damage and disrupt computer systems. Common types of malware include virus, worms, Trojan horses, and ransomware. Malware infections can have severe consequences such as data loss, identity theft, and financial loss. To prevent malware infections, individuals and organizations should use antivirus software, keep software and operating system up to date with security patches, and avoid downloading or opening suspicious attachments or links. The next question, that is question 2b, asks how individuals and organizations train employees to recognize and avoid social engineering techniques such as phishing, pretexting, and baiting, and implement policies and procedures to reduce the risk of unauthorized access to sensitive information. Social engineering techniques such as phishing, pretexting, and baiting are designed to trick individuals into divulging sensitive information or performing unauthorized actions. To reduce the risk of unauthorized access to sensitive information, individuals and organizations can train employees to recognize social engineering techniques and implement policies and procedures to prevent them. This may include providing training on how to identify phishing emails, avoiding sharing sensitive information online, verifying the request for sensitive information before providing it. The third part of second question asks what are different methods of securing data such as encryption, tokenization, and access control, and how can organization evaluate which approach best suits their specific needs. Let's go through the answer. Different methods of securing data such as encryption, tokenization, and access control can be used to protect sensitive information. Organizations should evaluate their specific needs to determine which approach best suits their requirement. Firstly, encryption is a common method of securing data and involves converting plain text into ciphertext using an encryption algorithm and a secret key. Secondly, the tokenization method involves replacing sensitive data with a token that has no meaning or value, while access control involves limiting access to sensitive information based on user permissions. The next question, question number 3's first part asks, how can individuals and organizations use email filters, web filters, and firewalls to identify and block phishing and vishing scams? And what are some best practices for responding to suspected attacks, such as reporting the incident to security teams? Let's go through answer, which says email filters, web filters, and firewalls can be used to identify and block phishing and vishing scams. Email filters can be set up to block suspicious emails or to send them to spam folder, while web filter can prevent users from accessing known malicious websites. Firewalls can block unauthorized access to computer systems and networks. Best practices for responding to suspected attacks include reporting incidents to security teams, reviewing access logs, and implementing incident response plans. Question 3b asks, what are some of the most significant milestones in the history of cryptography, such as development of Caesar cipher, and how have advances in technology and computing impacted the evolution of cryptographic systems over time? Significant milestones in the history of cryptography include the development of Caesar cipher, the Enigma machine, and the RSA algorithm. Advances in technologies and computing have impacted the evolution of cryptographic systems over time, with modern cryptographic systems that use complex mathematical algorithms and key exchange protocols to ensure secure communication and data storage. The third part of question B is, what are some key features and limitations of popular cryptographic algorithms such as DES, 3DES, RC4, 2FISH, and AES? And how can organizations select the appropriate algorithm for their specific use cases? The answer says popular cryptographic algorithms such as DES, 3DES, RC4, 2FISH, and AES, that is Advanced Encryption Standard, have different key sizes, block sizes, and encryption modes, which impact their security and performance. Organizations should select the appropriate algorithm for their specific use case based on their security requirements, processing power, and the sensitivity of the data being protected. Factors to consider include the strength of the encryption, the ease of key management, and the potential for attacks such as brute force and side channel attacks. The first part of question 4, that is the next question, is how do public and private key based cryptographic systems work, and what are some practical applications of these systems in real world scenarios such as secure messaging and online transactions? Public and private key based cryptographic systems work by using a pair of key, one public and one private, for encryption and decryption. In this system, the public key can be freely distributed while the private key is kept secret. When someone wants to send a message to the receiver, they use the receiver's public key to encrypt the message, which can only be decrypted using receiver's private key. This ensures that only the intended receiver can read the message. Practical application of these systems includes secure messaging, online transactions, and digital signature. The second part of question 4 asks what are some design principles such as principle of least privilege and defense in depth that organizations should follow when developing software and other systems, and how can these principles be effectively implemented using tools such as code analysis and penetration testing. Design principles such as principle of least privilege and defense in depth help organizations develop secure software and systems. The principle of least privilege states that each system component should only have access to the resources it needs to function, while defense in depth means using multiple layers of security controls to protect attacks. These principles, along with other principles which include open safe economy and mechanism and complete mediation and etc., can be implemented using tools such as code analysis and penetration testing. Code analysis can help identify vulnerabilities in code, while penetration testing can simulate attacks to find weaknesses in the system. The third part of question 4 asks, how can organizations defend against side channel attacks such as timing attacks and power analysis attacks? And what are some standard methods for detecting and mitigating these type of threats, such as using masking techniques and implementing hardware level security measures? The answer says side channel attacks are a type of attack that targets weaknesses in a system physical characteristic such as power consumption or timing. Organizations can defend against these attacks by using masking techniques such as randomizing power consumption or adding noise to the data signal to make it harder for attacker to extract information. Hardware level security measures such as secure boot and firmware signing can also help protect against side channel attacks. Standard methods for detecting and mitigating these type of threats include monitoring power consumption and performing regularly security audits. The next question is, what are some key strategies for securing Windows system and implementing effective authentication models such as biometric and multi-factor authentication? Securing Windows system involves implementing several measures such as the following. First, installing regular security updates. Ensure that all security updates are installed promptly to prevent vulnerabilities from being exploited. Second, configuring firewalls. Use firewalls to block unauthorized access to a system and limit the network traffic that is allowed in and out. Thirdly, using antivirus software. Install antivirus software and ensure that it is updated regularly to detect and remove any malicious software. Fourth, implementing access control. Use access controls to restrict access to sensitive data and functions to authorized users only. Fifth, using strong passwords. Ensure that users create strong passwords that are difficult to guess and change them periodically. Sixth, implementing multi-factor authentication. Use multi-factor authentication just as biometric authentication to provide an additional layer of security for user authentication. 7. Conducting regular security audits. Regular access to system for vulnerabilities and implement necessary measures to mitigate them. The last question's first part states that what standard authentication models are used by organizations such as single sign-on, SSO, and multi-factor authentication, and how can organizations evaluate which approach best suits their specific needs, and how can organizations consider which approach is best suited for their particular need use cases. The answer says Standard authentication models such as SSO, that is single sign-on, and multi-factor authentication, that is MFA, are used by organizations to enhance the security of their system and data. SSO allow users to access multiple applications with a single set of credentials, while MFA requires users to provide additional forms of identification such as fingerprint or one-time password. Organizations can evaluate which approach is best suited for their specific need by considering factors such as level of security required, the number of users who will need to authenticate, and the cost of complexity of implementation. They can also consider the risk of different types of attacks, such as phishing and credential stuffing, and choose an authentication model that can mitigate these risks. The second part of the fifth question asks, what is trusted computing and how does it differ from traditional security models? And how can organizations leverage trusted computing technologies such as hardware-based security modules and remote attestations to enhance the security and integrity of their system and data? Let's go through the answer, which states trusted computing is a security model that focuses on the integrity of the hardware and software components of a system. It differs from traditional security models that rely on software-based solutions such as firewall and antivirus software. Organizations can leverage trusted computing technology such as hardware-based security modules to enhance the security and integrity of their systems and data. Hardware-based security modules provide a secure environment for sensitive data and operations, while remote attestation allow organizations to verify the integrity of a system hardware and software component before allowing access. The third part of the fifth question asks, explain how viruses work and explain any 10 viruses. A computer virus is a type of malware that spread by infecting executable files or documents. Once a virus infects a system, it can perform various malicious actions such as stealing personal data or damaging files by replicating itself. Here are 10 examples of viruses. First one is I Love You, that is a virus that spread via email in 2000, causing damage to millions of computers. Second, WannaCry, a ransomware virus that affected hundreds of and thousands of computers in 2017. Third, Melissa, that is a virus spread via email in 1999 and caused millions of dollars in damages. Fourth, CodeRed, that is a worm that infected services running Microsoft IIS in 2001, causing widespread outages. Fifth, MyDoom, that is the worm that spread via email in 2004, creating a backdoor that allowed attackers to control infected systems. Zeus, that is a Trojan that stole banking credentials and other sensitive information from infected systems. Seventh, a worm that exploit. Seventh is Conflicker, that is a worm that exploited a vulnerability in Windows system and created a botnet with millions of infected computers. Eighth, Stuxnet, that is a worm that targeted industrial control systems, causing physical damage to centrifuges used in Iran's nuclear program. Ninth, CryptoLocker, which was a ransomware virus that encrypted users' files and demanded payment in exchange for the decryption key. And the 10th and the last one is Mirai, that is a botnet composed of infected Internet of Things, that is IoT devices, that was used in massive distributed denial of service, that is DDoS attack in 2016. And that's it. Thank you. In case you like this video, please give it a big thumbs up, and in case of any query, feel free to ask me in the comment section below or get connected with me in any of the platforms. That's it. Thank you. Bye.